Hello there fellow humans and welcome to this video, and well, there is a new update in WoT Blitz and there's not a lot that happened, to be honest, but there is one very important thing that happened in this update, and that is the almighty Tog II has been buffed. As you can see out here, they increased the forward speed from 14 to 20, reverse speed from 7 to 12, and got 150 more horsepower as well. And if that wouldn't be enough, it also got more armor. As you can see right here. I don't know if the tank got more weight because of that, so that might balance out the speed a bit. But that has to be seen eventually. Now, obviously, it's not going to be a race car, but as you can see, the armor got increased quite a lot. So the driver and the hatches have been buffed massively. Well, this doesn't really matter. But 7,635, that is a lot of buffed armor right there. That is a lot of armor. And also on the turret, you have 30mm more on the front. And that is quite significant for the Tog. For a tank that has become faster and more armored, that's a lot. Now you still want to see the 3000 DPM, obviously, eventually, because only that will do the Tog justice. But let's go. Let's test it out. The almighty Tog machine. How good is it now? Is it still a meme tank, or is it actually a competitive thing now? Because the main thing about the Tog is always the amount of hit points. You have 1.6k hit points at tier 6, which is just massive. So what I can assume is also that in tournaments now, this thing is a lot more viable, because you can just either send it alone to hold up enemies and maybe cap a base or something like that, or you can send it in first and then have ARL supporting it and completely destroy the enemy team like that. So I think the Tog in tournaments can be very useful now as well. But now, let's not play tournaments because those are dead anyway. Let's play the almighty Tog in the real world. And now, obviously, before we get into the battle, before we slowly trundle into action, have to make sure, if you own a Tog, to have the correct ammo loadout. I'll show you the equipment after this battle, how to equip this tank, so stay tuned for that if you want to see that one. Now, obviously, about the armor of this the ammo of this vehicle, rather, you'll always want to have 69 AP and 69 APCR for extra niceness of this vehicle. And then, for the equipment, always take 2 repair kits. If you don't take 2 repair kits, then you're doing something wrong. And the third slot, you can do whatever you want. You can also use an engine boost, but I wouldn't really recommend it, because this thing is slow. But, as you can see right here, I'm doing 20 kilometers an hour, which is a lot faster than the previous 14. That is a lot faster. That is basically a third faster, which is massive for a tank like this. As you can see, it's not just a slow trundling mess anymore. It has some power to it now, and with the very decent gun that this thing has, basically it's a Cromwell gun, so it doesn't hit too hard, but it hits often, and 2000 DPM at tier 6 is not that bad. So I'm sitting in the cap circle here, which isn't the best of ideas, obviously, because they know where we are, but oh, that was someone else. Okay, there's someone camping back there. I would assume he's up here on that. Nope, he's not there. Is he in the bush? He would. No, he's not in the bush either. Okay. How do we do this? I don't really want to cap here, because obviously if we cap, we reduce our damage, which is bad. So don't be a loser. Don't cap the base. It does sound better in CSGO now, doesn't it? Okay, now the Kuro is dead. That is wonderful. Now, we know there's 2 people up there. That's the MX. There you go. There's the LC. There is the MX ELC. Now, I have 1,643 hit points. 1,400 remaining. That is basically double of that BDR. So what I can do is just simply push in, and they have no chance against me. You cannot out-trade this vehicle at all. You have no chance in a trading war, because it has double health of this poor little tier 5 heavy tank. I'll have more than double, actually. 400 more than double, which is quite impressive. Okay, now there's only 3 enemies left here, and as you can see, 20 kilometers an hour, obviously it's not very fast, but it does get you around quite significantly faster than 14. Who would have thought that? 20 is bigger than 14. Isn't that wonderful? And also, this is one wonderful tank now, because previously it was just a slow, trundling mess of no armor and a lot of hit points. The gun has always been quite decent for a T6 heavy tank, but now you actually have some competitiveness to it, even though while pretty much most of the enemies will still be able to penetrate you without any problems, it's going to be quite a bit harder. And when you have 1600 health, 1 or 2 extra shots bouncing is always going to be great, because while the enemy can't allow themselves any bounces whatsoever, because then they're at an immediate disadvantage, you can allow yourself quite a bit of it because you have a lot of health. And there you go, that is 1800 damage in the Tog. That's how you do it. Now, how do you equip the Tog? Well, obviously you go for the gun rammer, because it has APCR, so it's not really that good to use calibrated. Like, I would use calibrated primarily on tanks that have heat shells, like medium tanks, for example. Then simply go for the ramming thingy, because why not? Obviously, you don't want to have a camo net here. Then speed. I'll go for the improved assembly. You might want to switch it out for enhanced armor now, because it was like the armor was buffed, and it might help a lot more. But I'm going to keep the improved assembly for now, because one of the most important things about the tank is the hit points, so let's keep increasing those. Then enhanced gun length drive, as always. Supercharge, only really useful on TDs. And then I would actually go for the refined gun here to make the dispersion better, and the toolbox. And then let's actually spoil it and get a consumable delivery system as well. There you go. That's how I would equip the Tog. And if you don't have the Tog, then get yourself a Tog now. It's only 3,000 gold, and that is not a very significant amount of gold anyway. Alright, now the first game was low tier. We had a tier 5 match. So, no, don't. If you equip your tank like this, then you belong in the mental ward. What the hell, Wargaming? Why would you show this? Multi-kit, repair kit, third thing. That's how you equip it. Otherwise, you just don't get what it's doing. In tournaments, you can do it otherwise. You know, you can go for the multi-kit, adrenaline, and a better speed booster, like on the E5, for example. That makes sense in a tournament. But in a standard battle, it doesn't make sense at all. Because what if you get tracked and the next shot sets you on fire? Good luck with that one. Okay, now, in this game here, we are low tier, so this is going to be quite a lot harder to play than the last one was, especially because that Type 62 has just committed die. Because he is a very, very good player, as you can clearly see. That he is also a very, very good team player. Unfortunately, he spawned on the wrong team. Now, the problem here is that, for example, the Hellcat can kill me very easily because it is OP. And I have a very, very bad team in general because they decided to go into the city, and that is not really a good idea. Unless the enemy team is dumb and just camps up here and you can get good crossfire. Then that works. But then again, if you give up map control, you reduce your chances of winning from 50% to about 15%. So don't ever give up map control. Keep the map control, and you're way more likely to win. But as you can see right here, the team's just collapsing. There's 3 people dead after 1 minute. And I'm not gonna cut this game out because this is perfectly a perfect illustration of what the Tog does wrong. First game showed you how it does it well, now this is how it does it wrong. It is a 20 kilometers an hour top speed vehicle, so while you have more mobility now and more ability to be useful in battle, you're still only going at 20 kilometers an hour. And that is why I normally despise slow vehicles, because like the Mouse, like the VK, like the E100, you just can't be mobile enough to be useful. And if the game called WoT Blitz, you want to be very useful and very mobile. If you camp in one spot, you can't really be useful anywhere. And as you can see there, I can't really retreat, I can't get out. I'm fixed to a position that I go to, which is very bad. You know, you don't really want to be fixed to a position, because if that position decides to have 5 enemy tanks in it, then you have a problem. Well, and that's the Tog. Is it worth buying now? I think it is. It's certainly worth buying for the meme that it is. Is it a good vehicle now? Well, it depends on what you think of it. I personally think that it is too slow. I don't know what he is doing because he's activating adrenaline while nobody is spotted. And that's exactly why you should equip the tanks properly. Now, the Tog is a weird vehicle. On the other side, it is a fun thing. On the other side, is it competitive now? Well, compared to like an ARL-44 or a KV-2, maybe. But you have to try it out for yourself because it is a very situational, a very difficult tank to play. And well, with that horrible disappointment that this game is lost, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to unlike and not subscribe. And also not become a member, that would be very much appreciated. And see you in the next one. Goodbye.